6 Stingray Marines from Force Recon spent 10 months deep in Vietnam's jungle while they radioed artillery coordinates beneath the dense canopy. Artillery followed their radio calls. Their ambushes hit supply routes. The team reported 477 confirmed enemy kills and captures, while its artillery calls targeted North Vietnamese Army battalions. 6 men carried that risk. Each call, ambush, and patrol report depended on those men staying hidden deep inside enemy territory. Across 10 months, only 1 Marine died, and enemy fire did not kill him. For Marines outside Stingray, the risk looked different. By 1967, ordinary Marine rifle companies patrolled under triple canopy, blind to ambushes until first shots. The canopy blocked the patrol's view. The North Vietnamese Army opened 80% of firefights. It chose the ground, the moment, and whether to fight at all. An enemy force could remain hidden, fire first, and leave the larger patrol reacting to ground it had not chosen. Company patrols then fought their way out, after the enemy had already set the ground and moment. For every Marine killed, reports listed 7.5 North Vietnamese soldiers killed. In First Corps, Force Recon Stingray teams moved in groups of 6 to 8 Marines, not companies of 200. Their claimed kill ratio was 34-1. Small teams chose contact. They did not wait for an ambush, then fight clear on ground picked by the enemy. They entered first, at a place and moment they selected. Stingray groups initiated 95% of contacts. Selecting the moment of contact meant little, unless a patrol could stay in place after the enemy closed in. In July 1966, enemy troops closed around Sergeant Orest Bishgo's team, call sign Primus, during Operation Hastings. Bishgo held the position, passed coordinates, and directed Marine artillery onto the enemy around his men. Their rifles remained silent. The jungle hid the patrol. Force Recon predated this ambush. The Marine Corps created force reconnaissance companies in the 1950s for deep penetration special operations beyond infantry lines. These units stood apart from ordinary reconnaissance patrols attached to infantry divisions. First Force Recon Company operated from Da Nang in support of the 1st McLaren Division. Third Force Recon Company covered the northern provinces, including Quang Tri, the demilitarized zone, A Shau Valley, and approaches to Khe Sanh. Yet in 1966, teams still answered ambushes with a World War II drill known as the Quail Tactic. They scattered in different directions, hoping some Marines would survive and reach extraction later. Primus stayed concealed under the jungle canopy as Bishgo adjusted the battalion's artillery around the position. 6 Marines could direct hundreds of artillery rounds, fixed-wing airstrikes, Cobra gunship fire, and naval gunfire. The enemy around them took fire without seeing the patrol beneath the canopy. In November 1969, Captain Francis J. Bing West formalized Stingray as an official method for Marine patrols. West later became Assistant Secretary of Defense under Reagan. He tied it to uninhabited wilderness, which he estimated covered 60 to 70% of Vietnam. Under Stingray, small Marine patrols had to remain hidden, give coordinates, and hold position after contact. In early 1967, First Lieutenant Andrew R. Finlayson took command of one such team. His first force reconnaissance team used the radio call sign Killer Kane. The team operated south of Da Nang. They moved through Antenna Valley, Happy Valley, and the Cu Son Mountains. North Vietnamese Army units moved men and supplies through those areas with little interference. At night, a twin-rotor CH-46 Sea Knight moved toward dense forest. The helicopter set 6 Marines down where visibility extended only about 10 feet in any direction. Sometimes the patrol had 8 Marines, but no nearby infantry reserve. No artillery support unit went with them. Ground help remained far away. For days, Killer Kane searched silently for trails, camps, supply caches, and signs of enemy movement. Once the patrol found a North Vietnamese Army unit, Finlayson's men radioed its coordinates. After the transmission, shells whistled over the tree line, while Finlayson's men stayed beneath it. 105mm and 155mm howitzers fired from fire support bases miles away. F-4 Phantom II jets followed with airstrikes, then Cobra gunships. The fire could reach targets. It did not put a relief force beside Killer Kane. Radio contact brought distant fire, not nearby infantry. Even when fire reached the position, the gap between the patrol and a rescue force remained. The patrol still had to leave the area alone. Over 10 months, Killer Kane completed more than 34 long-range patrols. Each patrol began with 6 Marines, sometimes 8. At the start, no artillery unit or infantry support stood close by. The count measured missions, not safety for the men who made them. Lightning killed 1 Marine. Finlayson published the team's full account in 2013. By then, he had retired as a colonel. Declassified after-action reports record the team's sole death, lightning during a storm evacuation on May 15, 1967. Those patrol reports changed the chain of command. Lieutenant General Herman Nickerson, Jr. commanded all United States Marine forces in Vietnam. He removed 3rd Force Reconnaissance Company from 3rd Marine Division. He placed it under 3rd Marine Amphibious Force Headquarters. With fewer than 200 Marines, the company now reported directly to the 3-star commander directing the Northern Theater. Late in 1969, Major Alex Lee took command of the company. Nickerson kept up to 40 teams on the ground in northern South Vietnam at once. Each team had 4 to 6 Marines. They reported straight to headquarters. Reports from across the province reached headquarters. 4 to 6 Marines gathered the information on the ground. Their missions expanded. Teams set Stingray ambushes and assessed bomb damage after B-52 arc light strikes. They searched for downed pilots on rescue missions and raided enemy supply lines. Small patrols faced the risk. Official Marine Corps history says Stingray operations killed more than 3,800 enemy troops in 1968 alone. Some Stingray patrols carried 6 to 8 Marines. During Lee's command, the company received 2 Navy Crosses. Captain Clovis Kaufman and Corporal Charles Sexton died in the A Shau Valley. For those small teams, danger began before surveillance. Each of the up to 40 small teams first had to reach the ground from a helicopter. Suitable landing zones were scarce. Often, the only available clearing or crater held room for just 1 helicopter. Marines rappelled by rope into a narrow landing zone or a bomb crater, then started the patrol on foot. The landing site came first. Before departure, patrols studied maps, old patrol Orleans, and photographs from the G2 intelligence section. They compared those records to find a place within roughly 1,000 meters of the task area. Sometimes, a site near the assigned area offered only a bomb crater for the descent. Many patrols entered an assigned area without a fixed target to pursue. Their orders often sent them to survey a general area with no single fixed target. They placed observation posts beside trails and looked for base areas, bivouac sites, or supply dumps. Corporal Paul Keaveney received the Silver Star, a United States award for gallantry in combat. In February 1968, 2nd Lieutenant Terry Graves led a Stingray team and received the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor is the United States' highest military decoration. The patrol also marked a no-fire zone, 2,000 by 3,000 meters, around its observation position. Anyone planning artillery fire or an airstrike had to clear it with the team. No strike came without clearance. The observers gave clearance before artillery fire or an airstrike hit that zone. After the patrol completed its watch, a helicopter began extraction on the SPIE rope. SPIE meant Special Personnel Insertion and Extraction. No landing zone was required. The rig lifted the whole team straight through the jungle's triple canopy. Their boots left the ground. As North Vietnamese troops searched beneath the trees, Marines could already hang about 61 meters below the aircraft. The rope shortened time on the ground after contact. Risk rose with them. The helicopter remained aloft, but every Marine hung exposed beneath the aircraft, attached to the rope. In July 1970, the United States military made a decision that changed the unit's future. The roster changed with the leadership. In July 1970, the new command disbanded 3rd Force Reconnaissance Company. That move ended the company's service. For its small teams, a radio and map no longer meant another assignment. Lieutenant General Nickerson rotated home. The company lost its protection. New commanders saw a specialized unit that sat outside the division's usual order of battle. They closed it. Combat reputation did not reverse their decision. 8 reconnaissance Marines carried a radio and map. A rifle company held roughly 200 men and required far more logistical support. Division commanders planned around larger companies, their staffing, and their supply needs. The smaller unit no longer fit that arrangement. Commanders closed the Combined Action Program in May 1971. They disbanded 1st Force Reconnaissance Company in 1974. Those decisions left fewer places for small reconnaissance teams. Veterans went home. Their accounts stayed out of public view. Years passed before those accounts appeared in print. Bruce "Doc" Norton published his Force Recon diaries in 1991. Major Lee published his account in 1995, 25 years after his command ended. Andrew Finlayson's memoir appeared in 2013. By then, the public story of Vietnam centered on Tet, Hue, Khe Sanh, the siege, protests, and withdrawal. Those events filled documentaries, books, and public memory. The smaller company had little space in that record. The command chronologies of 3rd Force Reconnaissance Company remained classified for decades. Those sealed records kept much of the unit's account out of public view. Washington's Memorial Wall carries the names of 72 Force Reconnaissance Marines who died in action during the Vietnam War. Their names remained visible. Most died when superior enemy forces pinned their teams in direct contact. The reports came with that price. Direct contact changed the mission. A small patrol could send intelligence and call for fire support. The radio crackled through the request. Those reports could warn other troops before enemy forces found them. Once superior forces pinned the team in place, the patrol faced direct contact. Brief contact gave a Stingray team its opening. It could identify enemy troops, report what it found, and request supporting fires. That information moved beyond the patrol. Early warning, reconnaissance, and fire support helped thousands of troops survive. The benefit reached outward. The immediate danger stayed with the few Marines on the ground. Stingray preparation began before anyone saw the enemy. Teams trained to enter and leave outside ordinary landing zones. They prepared for extended independent work in enemy territory. A radio link carried intelligence and requests for fire support. Entry could be far from a traditional landing site, and extraction could be too. The work asked a few Marines to stay out for long periods. They watched, reported, and called for support. Then, larger enemy forces could pin them in place. 72 deaths show the consequence. Most of those Marines died in the direct contacts the teams tried to prevent. Marine Corps Deep Reconnaissance still exists. Force Reconnaissance Marines still conduct similar missions in other regions. They train for insertion and extraction, long independent missions, intelligence work, and requests for fire support. That preparation preserves experience from Layson, Lee, Norton, and hundreds of other Force Recon Marines. For 4 decades, much of their record stayed outside public accounts. Team Killer. Kane lost 1 Marine to lightning. Its report listed 477 enemy combatants killed or captured. That tally closes one Stingray record. Its tactics point to the Combined Action Platoons, another successful Marine Corps program during the Vietnam War. Other forgotten military units remain in the historical record. The platoons were another forgotten Marine Corps program of that war.